Welcome back everyone, this is a Scott Addict. It belongs to a channel viewer, one of the most prolific commenters on all my videos. So this is one of his bikes, one of 8 that he brought me for service. So I thought I'd film this one for you because it's quite a big job actually, and it'd be worth filming. But the main reason it's here is because he's decided 10 gears on the back isn't enough, it wants 11. So he's given me pretty much a complete bike's worth of Ultegra bits and pieces, brand new, to fit onto this bike and taking off this 10-speed Tiagra. So that's the plan, let's get stuck in. Once upon a time this was bar tape. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, it's worn out, that is. The tyres are both coming off, putting some Continentals on here. Like I say, the actual group set, it's all in pretty good shape, all works, but he's just decided to change to 11 speed with a slightly bigger ratio on the back. So we're changing chain set, cassette, chain, cables, rear derailleur, front derailleur, tyres, brake pads, bar tape, I think that's it, and I've got to get it ready by Saturday, which is 2 days away, and film it, so I better get stuck in. I'm not sure about these pedals, I think they look like they come off a indoor training bike or something. Let's get some bits off it then. Not going to change itself, is it? Drop it down there, wheels are good. Undo your brake, and flip it out. So they're in good shape, but we are changing the cassette and the tyre. Front wheel fulcrums, these are. No issues. The chain off, it might not have a quick link. Shimano 10 speed sometimes don't have quick links. And it does, there's one there. Good. All new cables are going in. I don't know what he's doing with this old Tiagra stuff, but we've got a nice internally routed cable here, thank you. Front derailleur is coming off as well, we've got a toggle link going on here. My favourite. This off. Everything's internal, thank you. Cranks coming off. Got some more Ultegras to go on. Ain't gonna be much left of this, that's for sure. And your safety clips on backwards. And this one. I think we've even got some new brakes, let me just check. Got some 105s that are going on, so let's get these off as well then. It's off. Don't need this one either. Tiagra, the forgotten group set. Oh, that's weird stuff. Only fits Tiagra to Tiagra. It's a 10 speed group set with an 11 speed pull ratio. So just be careful if you grab one of these. Compatibility wise is very limited on Shimano. Tiagra for Tiagra basically, and that's your lot. I'm guessing there's another front caliper in there as well. I haven't looked, but I think there must be a bolt in here somewhere. Good. How internally routed is this? Not too bad. Right, let's see if this bar tape comes off. I mean, it's in obviously terrible condition, but I'm more concerned about the sticky bits that are underneath it that don't come off, because that's just pain in the backside. Okay. Good. Bit of masking tape. Painter's tape, I guess you call it in the States. Right. They're all coming off, got all new cables, new levers obviously. I keep these end plugs there, they match the bike nicely. Yeah, I've got 7 of these other bikes, mostly the kids' bikes. Really nice hardtail mountain bike. But they're all done. There was nothing exciting enough to film on those, so this one gets the airtime. It's the second major service today that I'm filming, so progress. I won't get this finished today, what is it, 3:30 now? But I'll get a good start on it, that's for sure. I'll need to get it finished because he's collecting it soon. A couple of days, Saturday. Right, that's all off. Take this random tape off. Yeah, it's sort of semi-integrated cables here. They don't go through the stem or the bar or anything, but they do go through the frame a bit. Can't be too bad. Scott normally pretty good with cables. They normally give you some internal linings. So I can't just rip all these out. Front brake's obviously out. Front derailleur goes to here. Rear derailleur is there. That's the front. Brake I'm just going to pull out. That's going to go through the top tube, no problem. Way much. So the cables go into this plug here. They are labelled front and rear derailleur. There's a little screw here, you can get that out, and then obviously they go to the bottom bracket. We're on a Shimano press fit bottom bracket, so worst case scenario we can get this out to get the cables. Should be okay though. And then run into the cable guide here. So anyway, there's the rear derailleur cable there. I'm almost tempted just to go for it and see how it goes. And there's the front derailleur there. So this is a Shimano cable. You can see all this furriness here. These PTFE lined, and once that starts going you get all these furry cables. Right, I'm just going to live dangerously. I'm just going to pull this out. It's out. Same on the back. Makes for a more exciting viewing if I've got to do it the hard way, doesn't it? Right, committed now. We do need to take these off, obviously. I should have marked that one up, but I'll mark this one, and then I could just use a tool to compare the two, no problem. Get this one out as well then. Good. That's pretty much all we need off really. I will just take these off and give it a quick polish while it's in this state. It just makes life a lot easier. Like I say, that headset feels beautiful. I will just drop it quickly and just clean out the grit from on here. And apart from that, it's time to put the 11-speed stuff on. Now you're all waiting to find out if I can get these cables back in, aren't you? I like to make it difficult sometimes, just to brighten the day up, you know. It just gets a bit tedious otherwise, so I like a challenge, it's fine. But they might just drop straight through, who knows. I probably should do it the difficult way like that more often so you guys can learn a bit more, rather than showing you the right way to do it. I'll show you what happens when it goes wrong, which is quite often. You're just dropping your headset out, just leave it horizontal like this. Just makes life a bit easier. Torques, okay. Get the random torques. So just sort of clean the grit out of here really, that's it. Take that off now, and then this will all just hold itself together. Immaculate in here. A shim in here. Get a bit of a tap. This is absolutely immaculate. There's one bearing, looks practically brand new. There's the other one. Like I say, it's just literally jiggling this grit here. Get some grease on this bearing to stop it ever seizing. It's a long way off season at the moment, thankfully. Immaculate. Well, I'm not sure this customer's ever even used this bike. It's in far too good condition. Practically brand new. I think he just wanted to be on telly, to be fair. Okay, so it's the next day. I spoke to the customer last night actually, and he explained he did buy this used, and he's pretty much not used it. So I think he bought a very, very good used example. It was practically brand new. I've given it a good polish, and I can't see a single mark on this frame or fork. So yeah, she's looking really, really good. Also, the parts that are going on there are 105, not Ultegra. There is an Ultegra chain set, but the rest of it's 105. On the pedals, yes, he's been using this on an indoor trainer, and yes, there's some SPDs in the box as well. So we're all good. All right, let's get some new bits on. Just before we put anything else on, we'll put the fork back in. Get some grease in for these bearings. Yeah, I'm not sure the year of this bike, but wow, it's in really good condition. The mountain bike he's brought me as well is a carbon fibre Scott hardtail. It's also immaculate, really nice bike. See if I can show you that at some point in the video. Let's get these greased up so we don't seize up. We're not lubricating the bearing, I keep telling you. We're stopping it seizing. Getting these out of a carbon frame when they're seized up is probably top 3 tier worst jobs you can do. I need to do a tier list, don't I? Someone suggested it. I'll do one of worst jobs you can do in a workshop at some point. But that's definitely one of them. Awful job. So there's a shim installed on this one. What this does basically is the next cap here. When you install that, sometimes this can rub on the frame. So you basically just shimming that up 0.2 millimeters. The important bit that compresses the headset still touches the compression, but then you clear the paint on here. You shouldn't normally need them, but you get the odd one where you need it. In the bar, make sure there's no grease on the steerer there. And then your top cap, top nut, top cap, top cap. Torx T25 on this one. Doesn't make any difference, it's still the same principle. You tighten that up until there's no play in the headset, like that. And you torque these up when your wheel's straight. Just nip them up for now. I'll finally torque them when I get the wheel in. So what I'm going to do first on this one is put the levers on, and then I want to put the gear cables through, because if I can't get these gear cables through and potentially I've got to pull this bottom bracket, I don't want to start throwing the chain set on, etc. first. So let's do the hard bit first. Don't worry, it'll be easy. So we've got a pair of 105 levers, allegedly used. They look absolutely brand new to me. I think they've come off a new bike that someone's bought and instantly upgraded. These look literally brand new, so these can go straight on. To be honest, I'll take my gloves off today. Everything is brand new and sparkly clean. So. Alright, so I did mark this lever, so I can put this in the right place, and then we'll check the position of this one against that, because I forgot to mark it. It can be about there. Obviously you can move them, but you can't really move them after you've done the bar tape, that's the problem. So you need to get it pretty much at its final place. It's going to be there, that's where I've marked up the old lever. They're both Shimano levers, so the clamps should be in the same position. So now I need to check the position of this one relative to this one, which means I've got to take this back out again. So drop this BSC tool in here, and then you put your derailleur alignment gauge onto this. I'm sure I've showed you this before. Doesn't matter where that screws into, it's irrelevant as long as it's tight. Then you screw your dag into here, and then you set this to the top of one good hood that you know, like that one there. And then we'll take that over. I'm going to lock that pin in on this one. And you can see we're just a tiny bit too high. Not far off though. Try that again. Too low. And that's good. Tighten that up. And get this bit off. Don't need it now. Dead easy up. I think there's a few people make these. I think you can even 3D print them, I guess, but useful when you need it. You can use it for your saddle as well, apparently. Drop this back in. Okay. So cable wise, the customer supplied me with a full set of cables. I mean, I've got all the cables in the world, but we'll use these anyway. These are the old outers, which we know were a good size, so we'll just copy these. And these are the gear cables here. These are by Clark's, which is pretty much all my cables, but this is their Core Loop Pro gear. I've looked at these on their website. I've not seen them yet, but they seem very thick. I'm not sure I'll even fit this in the lever. So there's two different cables in here. There's two little bits here. And there's this stuff, which is compressionless, but all gear cables compressionless, so I don't know what they're shouting about there, I'll be honest with you. And it's twice the thickness of a normal gear cable. This is not brake cable, I'm telling you, this is gear cable. Pro gear shift inner cable. There's the brake cables, but it's the same thickness as a brake cable. So it's a bit weird. I don't think this is even going to fit in the lever housing, I'll be honest with you. So these are the Shimano caps that you need to put in there, and there's just no way that's going on there. Right, I sussed it out, don't worry. They give you some special end caps for this, which will convert it basically down to a normal size cable. 4mm, tidy that end up, so that'll go into the normal ferrules now. It does seem massively overkill, I'll be honest. I still don't think you're going to get this inline adjuster to fit in there, maybe. No, it's not going to fit, so I'm not going to use this because it's, well, it's not really seeing any major benefit to me, I'll be honest with you. Plus we need this to fit on the front derailleur, and they don't supply one that's going to fit for that. So, nice idea, but not super compatible by the looks of it. So I just got some fresh outer, even though there's nothing wrong with this. So they are cut. We still need to use these Shimano ones as well, so we're not really gaining a great deal on the cables at all, I'll be honest. You need to use these to fit into the levers properly. These are the cable ports in the frame, rear derailleur, front derailleur. Even these won't accept a standard ferrule, so basically this part acts as the ferrule. Like that. So again, that super chunky stuff will never fit in there, so you definitely can't use it on this bike. Anyway, these are cut. Get these to the levers, get some inner cables through, thread them through here and see what ends up at the bottom bracket or not. We can use it in as though. This cable will just thread straight through here and out the other side. Pull it through and then make sure it seats in its little housing down the bottom. Like that. That's seated properly. Pop that out of the way. Through there. So if you've got an inline adjuster like this one, make sure it works before you fit it. Be nothing worse than cabling the whole thing up and then finding out this is seized or broken. So just make sure you can unscrew that and get some tension on it. I'll put a bit of lube on there as well. So this is obviously for the front derailleur because it's got that adjuster on it. And then for the lever you get this special end cap for Shimano with its little slot bit here. Somebody asked if you need this, how critical it is. Not super critical I would say, but you must have some sort of end cap on there. That one's in. Let's get the back one in. That one's in there. Right, now we're going to get these through the frame. I'm going to turn the bike around to make it easy to show you what I'm trying to do. Right, so before I try and push them through, I'm going to pull this out because there's no cables in there. It'll just make life a lot easier. You'll be able to see hopefully. Little plastic trim tool on here, that just pops out. Right, so set the bike so gravity is going to give you a helping hand. This cable will just run down here, hopefully straight out the bottom there. Front derailleur is the bottom hole. You can undo this and pull this out. If it's anything like the Giant, there's two tubes that are attached to it, basically, and you pull the whole thing out. So So I'm guessing it's something similar to that, but how hard can it be? Shove it through, see what happens. Right, that's just come straight through the bottom bracket there, so that one's easy. And that's located in there. And this one through here. And you're going straight out the bottom bracket. Right, I think these housings are a bit long. Let's have a look. Getting a bit, I mean, not horrendous, I'll be honest. I think you could probably take 20mm off this without too much difficulty. So now's the time to do it before you go any further. If you want to trim this outer, just pull it off there, trim 20mm off there, or whatever you want to do, and put it back in. I'm going to take a bit off there, a bit too long for me. I know it's pretty easy to get it through there. Take that off, pull that off. Took about 50 off there actually. I've got plenty more if I need it, don't worry. We do find this with Scots, is they are very well designed. I'm a big fan of Scott bikes, as is the customer clearly, with 8 of them. No, but seriously, I am a big fan of Scott. Never had one in yet that's not impressed me. Underrated brand, and that's going to be a lot better there. So do the same on this one. So this is where it gets interesting. So we're going to get it through here. Obviously one goes through the chainstay for the radiator, the other one goes through here for the front radiator. And work out which is which first. That's the front radiator. There's the front radiator, that's the rear radiator. So I'm going to put both of these just through the bottom of this housing for now. Like that. Then hook that piece in like that without too much difficulty. And then I'm just going to thread these through again. Again, straight out the top of the chainstay. And this one straight out the bottom. It's just a case of going through the front bit, and there's a little hole here it needs to just pop out of. It's only literally this far. There you go. And that's in. See, told you, not too bad at all. And that looks good, so everything can be taped on. I've got to fit the brake cables as well, but now we're doing the difficult bit, we can just bang on the chain set, etc, and start to make it look like a bike. So let's get the chain set in. So we've got an Ultegra chain set, 165s on this, brand spanking new as well. This is UI, so it's out of the recall date, it's not some dodgy old stock. Not fitting this left hand crank, so we've got another one with a power meter in it. Get a bit of grease in here. I can still see the original Shimano premium grease in here. It's had an easy life, this bike. Bang this in. Right, left hand crank. We've got a power meter crank going onto this one. Hopefully it's the same length. That'd be interesting. It is, right. Get this in. Good. Make sure your safety clip goes down. Tighten them up. I'll just coil this cable up now so it doesn't end up falling back through the frame before we connect it. There's a bit of plastic to go on here as well. So now we got that on, we can get the front derailleur on. So we're changing to a toggle link on this one. Done a video on setting these up. I love these derailleurs, they're so good. Definitely a Marmite. Some people love them, some people really don't like them. This will just bolt straight on there. We've even modified this sticker to show you the cable routing on here because so many people get it wrong. There's a little screw on the back here. Make sure that's all the way in. This is brand new, so it will be. So when you fit it like this kind of thing. Obviously exaggerated, goes backwards, and then that little screw pulls it out into being parallel. That fell off. First step is to line this piece of paper up with the teeth. It's got a profile on there, so we can see we're a bit too low at the moment. Yeah, I've got a bit of a range, so you don't need to be exactly there, but that looks pretty damn good there. And like I say, I've set it as far back as it can because you're going to foul on this braze on anyway, but just push it back at this back end as far as you can, and then once we tighten this up, we'll use the other screw in there to pull it out parallel. It has got about 2 degrees, which is going to be enough. And then you screw that in until you see this is parallel with your chainring. So you're going. That looks pretty good to me from where I'm standing. It might not be from where you are, but trust me, it's parallel. Final check on this bolt. All good. Right, take this off now, I don't need that. Now we can connect this cable. Just pull this cap out the top first. So we have this piece of liner on this frame as well. It's the only piece of damage I've found so far. Get a new piece. That liner just drops in the frame behind the bottom bracket. Just gives it some protection when it pulls through the frame. This goes through there. Undo this bolt. Cable needs to go under this plate now. Just nip this down very lightly at the moment just to keep it in place. And then what you want to do is pull this cable. Make sure you're in the right gear first on the gear lever, which we are. And I'm going to pull this cable fairly tight at the same time as tightening that, and you will see this silver bit move around onto here because this is the tensioner. Like that. So that will end up inside there now basically. When you screw this in, it adds tension to that cable. And we can already set this front derailleur pretty much Limit wise we needed chain really to set those, but we should be okay. And this will basically just wrap around here, pull that up, and it hooks around the back there, and then through that plastic cap. Clip that in there, and that's that basically set. So you can actually change the gear now, change the gear lever. If you put the gear lever all the way up to the big ring now, and then go down one trim position, you can pretty much preset these. There's two lines here, there and there. What you do is screw this in until those two lines up. All it's doing is adding cable tension. Screw this in, you should have enough. If not, we've got that inline adjuster as well. Pretty damn close now. Good. Right, we'll put a chain on obviously and go through the high and low limits, but I think you'll find that will shift pretty damn well as is. Rear mech, another 105, 11 speed long cage, all new. Just make sure this tab sits above there. And we'll basically hang down onto there like that. And just snug it in. Like that. So it is a shadow derailleur, so Shimano supply you with the TRS900, the super flexible cable, which you need to use for shadows really. This is the old Jaguar one that was on there. Not bad actually, but it's not as good as this. So we need to use this piece here to go in the frame. It just drops in there. Yeah, it's a bit long, because the beauty of this is you can run it so short, you can almost go a straight line. It's so flexible, it's a fantastic cable. So we'll run it something like this. So because this is spiral wound, which gives it this flexibility, when you cut this, you end up with this shard here, like when you cut brake cables. So you just need to run this on the grinder, make that flat. Just very quick blasts. Hopefully this will fit. If not, I've got loads of this stuff. Go in there, go in there. That looks good. So you can't do that with normal gear cable. It doesn't like being bent into such a sharp shape, but this stuff, flexible stuff, fantastic, honestly. I'm just going to loosely connect this to the derailleur now. We need to obviously set the limit screws on this before we can set the cable tension. I don't crimp it, you don't want to damage the cable yet, but literally just keep it out of the way. Like that. And so we've got a pair of 105 calipers, so we'll just spin these on now before we get the wheels on. These are definitely being used, but they're looking pretty good shape. He's given me some new pads, but these are brand new, so I'm going to leave them as they are. You can keep them as spares. I'm going to dab a grease on here first. Grease on there, stick it through the frame, drop your brake on. Spin it in. It's much easier than trying to turn your Allen key, that's the thing. And then get it centered roughly. I'll do that obviously when the wheel goes in. Same on the front. Make sure this is screwed in. That was all the way out a minute ago. Brake's got some weird paint finish on it. Looks like someone's tried to clean it with something not so clever. Doesn't look as good as the rest of the bike. They're easy to get if you need a new one. It's all faded. It's either, I'll show you in a minute, but it's all faded or been clean with something weird. See what I mean? There's a line here. So this is obviously the shiny black. This is sort of matte grey now. A bit weird. That's not a reflection. That's literally the colour of it. Quick pause for a minute just to say a massive thanks to Sport and Leisure for sponsoring today's video. So there's nothing worse, right, than being right in the middle of a job only for everything to come to a grinding halt because a part you ordered said it was in stock. It wasn't in stock. Often it's not even in the same country. .co.uk, that means Spain sometimes apparently. Yeah. So that's exactly why I use Sport and Leisure. They're based right here in the UK. Stock levels are 100% live. It says it's on the shelf. It genuinely is on the shelf, ready to go. Now if you get your order in before 3 PM, it's dispatched the very same day. Free delivery on all UK orders. Plus next day delivery, only £2.50. It's brilliant when you just need to crack on with the job. They've also updated the channel discount scheme for you. Head over to sportandleisure.com/BCR or scan this QR code on the screen. It'll generate a 10% discount at checkout off your very first order. You ain't buying parts anyway, it's an easy way to save a bit of cash. So the link's in the description below. And thanks again to Sport and Leisure for continuing to support the channel. Let's get back to old Scotty boy. So I'll just quickly change the tyres over on both wheels, got in Continental Ultra Sports again. Stick the new cassette on the back and get them in the bike, and then we'll continue. Right, so tyres are on. We've gone for 28 on these, that was what they're on before, so it does fit quite nicely. We're going obviously 10-speed cassette at the moment, 1132, and we're going to 11-speed 1134. That's tight. That was tight. Whew. So, take this off. There's already a spacer on this one. We do need it for this cassette. These will just slide on. Like that. If you're not sure if you do need a spacer, fit all this, get it tight. And if this is just flopping around loosely in your hand, clearly you're going to need a spacer. They do normally supply you with them. Anyway, if you don't, you can get them easy enough. No issues with these wheels, apart from a few cobwebs on them. Apart from that, They're pretty much as good as new by the looks of it. So we'll get these fitted. There's one. Loads of room for a 28 on this one. And the front wheel, I've already put that in. Again, loads of room. Just going to trim some of this excess off. I'll come back to it later, but just get it out of the way for now. Let's get these bottle cages back on now. And we get some pedals in, chain on, set the gears up. On some brake cables. I think these bottle cages for this bike, because he gave me 2 new ones as well, but I think they were for the mountain bike. Well, at least that's where they've ended up anyway. I'm sure you can swap them around if I've got it wrong. That bit done. Bit of grease down here. Right, so he's asked for a drop of grease in these old pedals. So we're just going to plop it in there, special tool. And you literally just unscrew this, pump some grease in the end, screw it back in. That just flushes it through basically. You can go a bit more in depth if you need be, but these actually feel pretty good to be honest. So what you do is pump some grease down the end of the pedal there, screw it back on, and it forces the grease through there and out the other end. You don't need to go crazy, just a bit. Like that. Screw it back in. Doesn't get much easier than that, does it? Like I say, you can take them all apart and get way more involved with that if you've got issues with them, but these did feel really good. Tighten them up. That's it. So that just forces the grease out, and there's the new grease just starting to come through, just the right amount there. Same on the other one. So clean these up, get them on the bike. Some anti-seize on here, get them fitted. Looking at this Duralac, recommended as the bee's knees. This is a marine product, so you can imagine how much stuff seizes up with marine gear. I can imagine it must be a nightmare. Salt water, oh my god. Okay. Pedals done. Just going to set your limit screws next. I'm going to get a chain on. I'm going to go through the gears, I guess. Still got brake cables, but that's about it then. So high is down here, that's miles away, so let's open that up. Just back this cable out because it's just grabbing it a bit too much. There you go. That is perfect there. Pull it up to low. We need a bit more on low. Pretty good. So because we put a bigger cassette on here, we're going to go with Shimano's chain size recommendation. So it's around the big sprocket, big chain ring, and then you add however many links appropriate. Get that up there so we can get the chain on there. Customer supplied me with a chain. He was a bit concerned if it was fake or not, but blue handwritten tick here pretty much guarantees you it's real. And a sticker on here rather than printed on the box. I just know it's real. I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of these boxes. You can tell instantly when it's fake. Throw this on, make sure the writing is facing you this way on Shimano chains. So when you're sizing it like this, don't go through the derailleur, it goes without the derailleur. You wrap it around this chain ring, you'll find it'll either go to the front or back of the tooth, you can't stretch it, obviously. So just wherever it's comfortable to sit like that. So wrap it around there until you get to this bit here, and this is what Shimano call their 0-point chain. So depending when you've got an outer or an inner link here, so depending if this is an outer or an inner link, it shows you on their little picture which I'll put on the screen now, how many links you need to leave on here to get it to the right size. So just cut that to the right one. Then fit the chain, and obviously this time it goes through the derailleur. Derailleur. People keep telling me off for pronouncing it wrong. Sorry, I can't even spell it. The gears. Through here. Go make sure you go around the back of the plate if there's any derailleur. Yeah, at times that's on the wrong side. And just join it up with your quick link. People keep telling me to get one with a squeeze instead of pull like these part ones. I think it's a good shout. Anyone can recommend any. It's hard work when you're pulling it. Probably Shimano ones, I'm guessing. Right, I'm just going to tighten this gear cable down now because we've done the limit screws. We shouldn't need to move it again. Just put a bit of tension on there. Just fitted this tyre, and guess what? Gone down. How annoying is that? I may or may not have used the tyre lever when I'm fitting it. I can't confirm or deny. I'm just pressing the gear lever now, just to settle all these housings down. Just press that without pedalling. Back it all off. That wasn't me. There's a hole right at the valve. Anyway, new tube, you're not going to patch that there. Right, try again. Right, let's go for one gear. Almost. That's up, down. Don't like big, does it? Drop down a smaller chain ring. Need a bit more on that limit screw. I'm a bit stingy with it. Open this low up a bit more. Quite a bit more actually. I need to open up the screw up a bit. Need to adjust this B screw. The jockey wheel's pretty much rammed against that cassette. So it's not happy. It looks about 5mm there. Go again. Perfect. It's good. Right, limit screw on there. We've got. Just need to open that up a little bit. This one here. Like so. Up to the big chain ring. Smallest sprocket at the back. And that's not rubbing at the front. I'm going to go down one trim position on this front derailleur. There. Check your white lines. Perfectly lined up still, so I'm happy with that. That's going to work perfectly on trim. That's rubbing there, as it should. Up the cassette, no rubbing. Happy days. Just going to trim this down a bit. I like to trim these really, really short and then put a cap on the end just to stop it rewinding itself, basically. That's how I do it anyway. Like that. And then push this through at the same time as putting this on. That basically just stops it unwinding itself and unhooking there then. So gears are done straight out of the box. Virtually nothing to do really. A couple of limiter screw adjustments, a little bit of the B screw. Job done, that's flying straight out of the box. Look at the brake cables now. Just adjust these pads because these are from an old bike, don't forget. Just need to align it with the rim. This tie's staying up this time. And then we're almost there. So just the brake cables now, so I'm just going to copy the lengths of the old ones. And again, there's nothing actually wrong with them, but it's supplied me with some new cables, so we'll get these fitted. I've been a bit delayed. I've just been working on a Canyon for over an hour for a customer, trying to stop the brakes rubbing the discs. An hour. Fun and games for disc brakes. Take the inners out before you cut the outers. Don't do that. This long one's probably long enough for all three of these bits. That's one bit. Need that bit for the frame. And two bits. And we need this bit for the frame. So that's all three bits out of one of those. So again, just got to finish all these ends on the grinder because they're spiral bound, so you can't have those jaggy bits. So I'll just whip them on the grinder now. So they're all done. So on Shimano brake levers, you don't fit a ferrule. The lever itself is the ferrule. We obviously need these two bits for the frame. Get this on the inners through and get it on the bike. I can't believe how many comments I'm still getting telling me we're doing it wrong in the UK, putting these brakes on this side, honestly. Every day, why'd you put the brakes on the wrong side? Who says we're doing it wrong? Some people have explained to me the reason, but I can't remember. Something to do with the signalling when you're turning right or something like that, so you can maintain a rear brake. Something like that. Anyway, so this one is the rear brake. Sorry. I don't get why people get so upset about it. I mean, it's not your bike, so this will locate into the lever. It goes in quite far, you see that. That was about 15 odd mil it goes into the lever. And then down to the frame. Just be mindful of where you are with your gear cables because these got to live together underneath here like this, taped together. And this will go through the frame. So on this one, it goes round to the right hand side of the bike and exits on the left. Again, I've just pulled this out. I'm pretty confident I can get this pretty easily out there. Gravity will help me. If need be, it'll just drop straight out of here. So I can see that. There's a hole down here and I can see it. So I'm just going to grab a pick and get hold of the cable. Like that. There she is. Easy. And just this bit. Into the frame here. This will go into the lever. I think we do need a ferrule on this one, just check. Nope. Again, there's no room for a ferrule. That's short, that is. Oh, that cable's too short. It needs another 5mm there. It's fine, I've got plenty spare. Right. Right, that's better. Good. Drop that through that caliper. I'm not set the pads yet, so I'll just need to do that before we finally commit to this. So we've just got to align this with the rim. It's only slightly out. It's obviously used on another bike. This back brake's got this same weird paint fade as well. Weird. Good. Oh, it's there aligned, so I'm just going to pull a bit more cable through. And that'll be done. There you go. Pull that through, let it back off just a smidge. tighten that up, try the lever. Also need centering a little bit, just want to come over here a fraction. Like that. Try that lever. Beautiful, they feel great. Nice. That didn't take an hour like that disc brake. It's going to be a 3-day build for an easiest job in the world. I'll get it done, don't we? And get them on, get massive ones with Shimano cables, nice. Just finish this front one off, almost there. Again, beautiful. Good. Right, brakes are done. Well, I've got 10 minutes left and then I'm calling it a day. So I'll just get these taped on, wrap the bars first thing, and it's ready for collection. Along with the other 7 bikes. Funny. Don't worry, I've got plenty of tape. So they're ready for wrapping in the morning. I'm just going to fold these hoods back in the meantime. And we'll finish it off tomorrow. Alright, see you later. Okay, time to wrap the bars. This is the tape he supplied, some Cella Italia stuff. Let's see how this goes on. You should see the state of this bike that's just come in for service. Wow, I've just put pictures on the community post, but I swear to God there's at least an inch of mud on some of it. Just disgraceful. Put me in a bad mood for the day, that has. Literally, oh, it's just some people. I'll put a picture up. Disgusting. Anyway, let's get these shiny bars wrapped up. Actually quite a nice tape. Better than what was on it. Tissue paper. And it's come out of the box covered in hair. It's not mine, obviously. Oh, that bike's just mental, honestly. Right, plenty long enough, actually. Very nice. Tell you what, it's almost like I know how to do it by now. It'll still be wrong for some people though, won't it? Right, that's gone on very nicely actually. Like I say, I'm going to reuse these old Scott ones because it's going to match the bike nicely. Get them sort of straight. Beautiful. So you always get finishing tape with bar tape, but generally speaking, some of them are good, but 99% of them are just absolutely useless. And after 5 minutes, that happens. It just falls off. Don't bother. I've started using this stuff, which is Tessa tape or Loom tape for car looms, basically. So it's very, very good and very, very sticky. It just finishes it off nicely. I think everybody seems to have been a fan of it so far when they've collected their bikes. I've seen other people using this as well. It just finishes it off really nicely, like that. This is a 25mm version. You can get it in a 19, which I found a bit thin. That just finishes it off quite nicely, that does. Right, that's one side done. So I'll just get this other side done and then we are literally all wrapped up. So what do you reckon? I think it came out pretty good, this one. Had a real good base to start with. This frame and fork, absolutely immaculate condition, really are fantastic. So yeah, pretty much brand new bike now. Everything else has been changed by the wheels. So I think he's going to be pretty happy with this. He's got his 11 speed that he wanted. I'm not even going to tell him I filmed this video. It'll be a nice surprise for him on Saturday when it drops. Anyway, let me just show you the other bike that's brought in. Very, very nice. What do you reckon? Oh, not this one. This one. Actually really nice. Carbon fibre hardtail. I know it's got a full set of SRAM gears on it, but they actually work really well, as do the brakes. All this is added some new brake pads on the back embedded in on the sinter machine. Apart from that, again, absolutely immaculate second-hand buy. I'm going to get him to start buying bikes for me, I think. He's done really well on all of these. Fantastic condition. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've not already done so, you know, like, subscribe, all that fantastic stuff. It really does help the channel grow. Got big targets, and I need your help to get there. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.